Hi, everybody. I bet you didn't know half of what I'm going to tell you about the Beatles While My Guitar Gently Weeps. But I have a fun fact. I tripped across it and said, whoa, I wonder what this is about. Listened to a snippet, I admit. Hands up. I listened to some of it, which some of the reactors would say, terrible. Because this is a bio about one of the greatest songs that George Harrison ever wrote. And because he had written this through a time of turbulence in the Beatles era of the four of them, always being known as harmonious, working hard. There was a turbulent time in and around when this song was written. But one thing that rose and put George Harrison up there with McCartney and Lennon being the main songwriters was proving that he had extraordinary writing skills, and it's all mixed into this. Now, I found this version. We're going to enjoy it, we're going to savor it, and it comes from, I think it's the burlesque circle. Oh, I have to get it right. It was in Las Vegas, and this Beatles song they performed to, it was called Cirque du Soleil, which is a very famous burlesque dancing troupe that travels the world. And I can only say they came to Ireland a couple of years back, and I was working in a theatre as a stage door reception, greeting all the guests and everybody. And they had come to Dublin, and they were mind blowing, I have to say. It'll be in the description anyway for you to follow them. But to get back to now, what is at hand? What is at hand is me going straight into While My Guitar Weeps. It's a song by English rock band The Beatles from their '68 double album The Beatles, also known as The White Album, written by, as I mentioned, George Harrison. The band's lead guitarist Harrison wrote this song as an exercise in randomness, inspired by the Chinese I Ching. The song conveys his dismay at the world's unreleased potential for universal love, which he refers to as the love theirs that's sleeping. Now, the song also serves as a comment. I just want to get this in front of me. It serves as a comment on the disharmony within the Beatles, as I mentioned, after their return from studying transcendental meditation in India in early, that was around '68. Now, the lack of camaraderie was reflected in the band's initial apathy towards the composition, which Harrison countered by inviting his friend and occasional collaborator Eric Clapton to contribute to the recording. I never knew that now. Clapton overdubbed the lead guitar part, although he was not formally credited for his contribution. That's why I didn't know. And Harrison first recorded it with a sparse backing of an acoustic guitar and a harmonium, a version that appeared in the 1996 Anthology 3 Outtakes compilation, and with the addition of a string arrangement by George Martin on the Love soundtrack album of 2006. Now, the full group recording was made in September '68, at which point the song's folk-based musical arrangement was replaced by a production in the heavy rock style. So you see how it's changed, how people have adapted it, how people, a certain era, they took the song and then made an orchestra version of it, rock version of it. But this, I feel, with the dancing, just brings the song to life. So we continue, and on release the song received praise from several music critics, and it has been recognised an example, as I've mentioned, Harrison's maturing songwriting. Beside the Beatles bandmates John Lennon and Paul McCartney at the time, Rolling Stone ranked While My Guitar Gently Weeps 136 on its list of 500 greatest songs of all time, seventh on the 100 greatest guitar songs of all time, and at number 10 on its list of the Beatles' 100 greatest songs. Now, Clapton's performance was ranked 42nd in Guitar World's 2008 of the 100 guitar solos, And Harrison and Clapton often performed the song together live. So even though he didn't get credited in the credits, Clapton did perform it live at Harrison. So it's nice to know that, during which they shared lead guitar role over the closing section. Now that's camaraderie between two great friends and respect. So respect to Harrison for that as well. And live versions featured the pair, which I must check out, included on the Concert for Bangladesh album in 1971 and live in Japan in 1992. Backed by a band that included McCartney and Ringo Starr, Clapton performed the song at the Concert for George in November 2002. And I'm taking a deep breath, a year after Harrison's death. That must have been very, very tough. We'll go into the song, we'll get to know it, and we'll come back with a little bit more bio. I have a few interesting facts I want to bring up and share with you. Stay tuned. It's no breakdown of the lyrics for this. It's a Beatles song. How could I give you my interpretation of a Beatles song? It's impossible and not permitted. So take it away. Extraordinary video of a song that I discovered, and in the beginning I told you about a fun fact. It was this: my partner used to work for Principales Cuatro Años, which is 40, in Spain, in the north, part of the franchise throughout Spain, and was a DJ. And I said to him the other day, oh my god, I've discovered this wonderful Beatles song and I'm going to put on my channel. And I never seen a person's face go, this was him. You never heard of that before? I said, no. Isn't it great? It's such a wonderful... Yeah, I know. I'm Spanish, you're English. Didn't say it verbally, but the face said it all. And you're only hearing of it now. And I bet you a lot of other people didn't hear of it, no matter how many multi-millions have watched it. So for all us people that never watched it before, enjoy.
You all see the lover that's sleeping, while my guitar gently weeps. I look at the floor and I see it needs sweeping. Still my guitar gently weeps. I don't know why nobody told you how to unfold your love. I don't know how someone controlled you. They bought and sold. The world, and I notice it's turning, while my guitar gently weeps. With every mistake we must surely be learning. Still my guitar gently weeps. I don't know how you were diverted, you were perverted too. I don't know how you were inverted, no one elected you. I look from the wings at the play you are staging, while my guitar gently weeps. As I'm sitting here doing nothing but aging, still my guitar gently weeps.
Wasn't that beautiful to watch that video? Absolutely stunning. More about them in the description, but let's get back to a few facts about the song. And we'll continue. The lyrics to My White Guitar Gently Weeps, Harrison revisits the theme of universal love and philosophical concerns that were evident in his overtly Indian influenced compositions, particularly Within You, Without You. That's an example. Now, the song is a lament for how a universal love for humankind is latent in all its individuals, yet remains unreleased. Now, that's a new word for me. In the description of the theologian Dale Allison, the song conveys spiritual angst and an urgent religious point of view, without being explicitly theological. Harrison sings of surveying you all and seeing the love that they're sleeping. Musicologist Walter Everett comments that the change from the minor mode verse to the parallel major might express hope that the unrealized potential described in the lyrics is to be fulfilled, but the continued minor triads seem to express a strong dismay that love is not to be unfolded. Now, during the bridges, Harrison adopts a repetitive rhythm theme in the style of Bob Dylan to convey how humankind has become distracted from its ability to manifest this love. He sings of people that have been inverted and perverted from their natural perspective. Now, while My Guitar Gently Weeps follows in a lyrical tradition established by Woody Guthrie, Peter Seeger, and Bo Diddley, whereby emotions and actions, on the other hand, are attributed to a musical instrument. According to an NME reviewer writing in 1998, the song conveys serious concern for the Beatles, dwindling esprit de corps, it quoted. Harrison biographer Joshua Green says that its message reflects the pessimism encouraged by world events throughout 1968, such as the assassinations of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy in the United States, and the Warsaw Pact invasion of Czechoslovakia. Allison writes that the lyrics represent a thesis of spiritual triumphalism in which Harrison mourns because love has not conquered all. There you go. I'm going to take a deep breath because now I'm continuing with a synopsis to all I've said. Initially, this song was more of an experiment using the theory of I Ching, which I mentioned in the beginning, Chinese Book of Changes. While My Guitar Gently Weeps was just a simple study based on the theory that everything has some purpose for being that there are a purpose at a given moment at a given time theory, said Harrison. I was thinking that anything I see when I open a book, I'm going to write a song about. So I opened this book and I saw Gently Weeps. I shut the book and then I started the tune. Lyrically, the song would shift in meaning by Harrison, and eventually the song would speak more to the disharmony within the Beatles following their return from India through the telling of a more somber love story. You make your own decision. World politics or disharmony within the Beatles? Whatever caused the song to be written, George Harrison, it's a masterpiece, because you are a master of all that you conveyed, all that you absorbed, all that you wrote. And I'm glad that people recognize you being up there with McCartney and Lennon, because even Ringo Starr, all of you attributed to being the best, most accomplished, prolific band of all time that will stand, for this reason, after hearing that, the test of time, long after I'm gone. So I'm away. Take care. Goodbye. And thank you for listening.